A great ocean liner glides across endless water. Engines thrum like a heartbeat in the cold pre-dawn haze. Cameras flare, reporters push forward. Shouts rise from a crowd gathered at the dock, some cheering, others screaming questions into the wind. The shoreline behind them begins to blur, the city skyline shrinking into the gray morning mist. On deck, a solitary figure stands with his coat pulled close, eyes never leaving the horizon he is leaving behind. He made the world laugh in theaters from New York to Tokyo. He gave faces to the displaced, the downtrodden, and the dreamers with nothing but a battered bowler hat and a cane. Millions wept at his comedy because in every pratfall, every stumble, every silent plea for connection, they saw themselves. And then, the nation that adored him turned away. He was a global icon, a pioneer who co-founded his own studio, United Artists, reshaping Hollywood's power structures forever. But now, he was leaving the United States not as a hero returning home, but as a man told he could never return at all. No court, no trial, just a single government order barring him from the country he had lived in for nearly 4 decades. A man whose art united millions was now accused of being unfit to set foot on American soil. And as the last outline of that skyline vanished behind him, the question hanging in the chill salt air was this: what force could turn the heart of a nation against the man who made them laugh? And how, from entertainer to outcast, did one of the most beloved figures on earth become a disputed symbol in a battle for the soul of a nation?
This is the true story of Charlie Chaplin. A boy born into desperation, a child flung into poverty in the grim districts of South London as the 19th century drew to a close. His father vanished into drink, his mother battled illness, and before he was 10 years old, he had already known hunger, fear, and the bleakness of the workhouse. But something in him would refuse to be buried by those years. A man who changed cinema forever. From the rough music halls of England to the glittering studios of Hollywood, he became the face of a new art form. Silent films had never seen anything like him. The little tramp, with his ragged coat, bowler hat, and tiny mustache, who could turn laughter into empathy and comedy into something achingly human. And a legacy almost destroyed by fear. He was not just an entertainer, he was an auteur, writing, directing, composing, and producing films that combined humor and sorrow with breathtaking ingenuity. Together with Mary Pickford, Douglas Fairbanks, and D.W. Griffith, he founded United Artists, seizing control of his art and reputation from the studios. But as the world changed around him, so did the meaning of his work. His early masterpieces like The Kid turned pathos into poetry. The Gold Rush blended starvation with laughter. The Great Dictator, made at the height of global conflict, used satire to condemn tyranny even before the United States joined the war. Why it matters. Art versus power. Fame versus freedom. Comedy as rebellion. Charlie Chaplin's life was not just about laughs. It was about struggle. The struggle of a man and his art against systems that tried to confine him, define him, and ultimately expel him. To understand Chaplin is to understand the modern world, a world where art can shape politics, where laughter can confront oppression, and where a silent man with a cane could be heard louder than presidents and senators. This is the story not just of a life,
but of his echoes in the century that followed.
London, late in the 19th century. The richest empire on earth casts its longest shadows here. In narrow streets slick with rain, in overcrowded tenements where sunlight rarely reaches the floor, in neighborhoods where survival is negotiated one day at a time. This is South London, a place of music halls and misery, of applause echoing just blocks away from hunger. Entertainment is not luxury here, it is survival. Into this world, on April 16, 1889, a child is born. His name is Charles Spencer Chaplin. Few people notice. There is no celebration, no promise attached to his arrival. His parents are performers, barely holding on. His father, Charles Chaplin Sr., is a talented singer whose career is already failing under the weight of alcoholism. His mother, Hannah Chaplin, known on stage as Lily Harley, is gifted, expressive, and increasingly fragile. She sings, she acts, she struggles. When she performs, she can command a room. When the curtain falls, reality returns quickly. Money disappears, gigs dry up. The family moves constantly, drifting between cheap lodgings, sometimes with furniture, sometimes without. Young Charlie learns early that applause does not mean security. His father fades from the household entirely, physically present at times, emotionally absent always. By the time Charlie is still very young, his father's drinking has overtaken any role he might have played. He will die before Charlie reaches adulthood. The center of Charlie's world becomes his mother. Hannah tries to hold everything together. She performs when she can. She practices lines at home. She teaches her sons songs and gestures, timing and expression. Charlie watches closely. He imitates. He learns without realizing he is learning. But the strain shows. Hannah's voice begins to fail on stage. Once while performing, she loses it entirely. The audience grows restless, the manager panics, and in a moment that will quietly shape history, a small boy is pushed onto the stage to fill the silence. Charlie sings. He does not sing well, but he understands the room. He reacts. He plays with the audience. He survives the moment. The crowd laughs. It is the first time performance saves him. It will not be the last. But childhood does not soften. It tightens. Food becomes unreliable. Rent falls behind. Hannah's mental health deteriorates. She suffers breakdowns that leave her unable to work, unable to care for her children. Doctors intervene. Authorities intervene. Charlie is sent to the workhouse. The word sounds harmless. The reality is not. Rows of beds, cold halls, strict routines, children separated from parents, hunger regulated, not solved. Few people noticed this child. No one imagined he would survive. He is separated from his mother, from his brother, from the fragile sense of family he has left. He learns to observe quietly, to adapt, to stay invisible when necessary. And when he leaves the workhouse, the world outside offers little relief. His mother is institutionalized more than once. His childhood is interrupted again and again by instability. But there is one place where the rules change: the stage. Charlie joins a clog dancing troupe. He tours. He performs nightly. He studies older performers, their timing, their pauses, their ability to pull laughter from thin air. He begins to understand something essential. Comedy is not jokes. It is control. Control of movement, control of silence, control of pain reshaped into something the audience can bear. While other children play, Charlie watches.
While others dream, he rehearses. The music hall becomes his school. Poverty becomes his teacher. And slowly, without anyone noticing, the boy who had nothing begins to build something no one can take away from him. By the age of 9, Charlie Chaplin has already lost his father, lost his home, lost his childhood. But he has kept one thing, the ability to perform. And soon, that ability will carry him far beyond the streets of London, into a world that is not yet ready for what he is about to become.
The stage becomes a refuge, not because it is kind, but because it is predictable in ways life is not. For Charlie Chaplin, performance is no longer a dream, it is a necessity. By his early teens, he is no longer just surviving London, he is moving through it with purpose. Music halls, touring companies, provincial theaters, places where applause can pay for a meal and a mistake can cost everything. Vaudeville is relentless. Performers travel constantly. They sleep where they can. They perform even when sick, even when exhausted. Audiences are impatient. They boo quickly. They laugh only when something works. Charlie watches everything. He studies how long a pause can last before laughter fades. He learns that silence can be louder than words. He understands that pain, when shown honestly, draws people closer instead of pushing them away. Comedy, he realizes, is not about being funny. It is about being precise. Every gesture matters. Every stumble must feel accidental, even when it is planned. He joins Fred Carnot's troupe, one of the most respected comedy companies in Britain. Carnot's style is physical, fast, and unforgiving. Performers are expected to dominate the stage without dialogue, using motion and timing alone. For Charlie, it is perfect training. Night after night, he performs sketches where authority figures are mocked, rules are bent, and dignity is fragile. The audience laughs not because the characters are clever, but because they are human. He refines something essential, the ability to say everything without speaking. And then comes the moment that changes the scale of his life. The Carnot troupe tours America. Charlie boards a ship bound for a country he has never seen, carrying little more than stage costumes and instinct. The United States is loud, confident, expanding. Its theaters are larger, its audiences are bigger, its appetite for entertainment seems endless. On stage, Charlie notices something immediately. American audiences laugh differently. They laugh harder, they expect more. So he gives them more. Sharper timing, broader movement, clearer emotion. He adjusts, he evolves, he absorbs the rhythm of a new world. Applause follows. It grows. Producers take notice. Among them is Max Sennett, head of Keystone Studios, a factory of fast-paced silent comedies in California. Chaplin is offered a contract. The leap is enormous. Music halls to motion pictures, live audiences to cameras, one chance to get it right or be forgotten. At Keystone, everything moves quickly. Films are shot in days, gags are improvised, mistakes are left in if they make people laugh. At first, Chaplin struggles. The pace is chaotic, the humor broad. He looks awkward on screen. Then something clicks. He experiments. A costume, a walk, shoes too big, pants too loose, a cane carried not as a prop, but as an extension of the body. The character appears almost by accident. But when audiences see him, they recognize something immediately. He is poor, but proud, mocked, but never defeated, outmatched, but always trying. The applause grows louder. For the first time, Chaplin tastes something unfamiliar: security. Fame follows quickly. His face appears on posters. His films circulate across continents. He becomes recognizable in places he has never visited. And yet, applause doesn't mean safety. Studios control the films, producers decide the pace, contracts limit freedom. The faster he rises, the more confined he feels. He begins to push back. He demands retakes. He insists on control over his performances. He studies filmmaking itself, editing, camera placement, rhythm. This is no longer escape. This is ambition. The boy who once performed to survive now wants ownership over his work and over his future. And that desire will place him on a collision course with Hollywood itself.
When Charlie Chaplin arrives in the United States, America is still inventing itself. Cities are expanding faster than laws can contain them. Factories rise beside neighborhoods of immigrants. Money moves quickly, power moves faster, and entertainment, cheap, loud, and everywhere, becomes the great unifier of a restless nation. Hollywood is not yet Hollywood. It is dust and sunlight, improvised studios, crews learning as they go, directors shouting over the noise of nearby streets, cameras crank by hand. Scripts are loose suggestions, not rules. This chaos suits Chaplin. He understands disorder. He has lived inside it. At Keystone Studios, he is surrounded by speed, slapstick chases, collapsing sets, exaggerated violence played for laughs. But Chaplin sees something missing: noise without meaning, movement without memory. So he slows things down. In front of the camera, he experiments. A hesitation before a step, a look held a second longer than expected, a fall that feels less like a joke and more like a moment of humiliation everyone recognizes. Then comes the costume. Ill-fitting trousers, oversized shoes, a tight jacket, a bowler hat, a small mustache, chosen not for comedy, but so his face can still show emotion on camera. The character does not arrive fully formed. He emerges piece by piece through trial, error, and instinct. And when audiences finally see him, they understand immediately. He is poor. Not theatrically poor, but recognizably so. The kind of poverty that means you keep moving because stopping is dangerous. He is gentle. He does not dominate the world around him. He reacts to it. He navigates it. He survives it. And again, he outsmarts authority. Policemen chase him and fail. Bosses humiliate him and lose control. The powerful underestimate him and regret it. This is not accidental. Chaplin knows his audience: immigrants, workers, the overlooked, people who live under rules they did not write. They see themselves in this man who owns nothing yet refuses to surrender his dignity. Film after film, the character evolves. He is no longer just funny, he is familiar. By the mid-1910s, the Tramp is everywhere. Posters, Nickelodeons, international screenings. Children imitate his walk. Adults recognize his sadness. Chaplin's fame spreads faster than he can comprehend. He becomes one of the first truly global celebrities. In an era without television, without the internet, his image reaches across borders and languages. And all of it happens without dialogue. No speeches, no slogans, no explanations. Without saying a word, he speaks for millions. But fame brings attention, and attention brings pressure. Studios want more films, faster. Chaplin wants better films, deeper stories. He leaves Keystone, then SNA, then Mutual. Each move gives him more control and more responsibility.
he begins to see filmmaking not as entertainment alone, but as expression. In The Tramp, Easy Street, The Immigrant, he introduces something radical, comedy that lingers after the laughter ends. Scenes where humor and hardship exist side by side. Moments where joy is earned, not handed out. Audiences respond. They do not just laugh, they remember. And slowly, almost without announcement, Chaplin crosses a line no comedian before him had crossed. He becomes an artist whose work reflects the conditions of the world, not by explaining them, but by living inside them. The Tramp is no longer just a character. He is a mirror. And that mirror, held up to society, will soon reflect things far more uncomfortable than laughter alone.
By the early 1920s, Charlie Chaplin is no longer simply a performer. He is a phenomenon. His face is recognized in Paris, Tokyo, Buenos Aires, and even in remote towns where cinema is just beginning to arrive. Millions have seen him stumble, fall, laugh, cry, and in every moment they have seen themselves. Chaplin understands this power. He understands that talent alone is not enough. The world must also see the architect behind it. Hollywood at the time is a machine. The studio system dominates, producing films like factories churn out goods. Stars are contracted, directors obey producers, films are made quickly, cheaply, formulaically. But Chaplin is different. He begins to demand control unheard of for any performer, let alone one so young in the industry. He writes his scripts, he directs, he edits, he composes the music, he supervises costumes, sets, props, even minor gestures. Every detail matters. This is more than ambition, it is mastery. And yet, mastery comes with risk. Studios, accustomed to unquestioned authority, are uneasy. Chaplin is expensive, meticulous, stubborn, but the results are undeniable. Audience numbers soar, critics rave. The Tramp's adventures, The Kid, The Gold Rush, The Circus become benchmarks in cinematic storytelling. Chaplin is no longer just a star, he is an institution. In 1919, with Mary Pickford, Douglas Fairbanks, and D.W. Griffith, Chaplin takes a step that will forever change the industry. He co-founds United Artists. For the first time, actors, directors, and producers can control distribution. They can retain creative freedom. They can, in theory, produce films without interference. For Chaplin, it is liberation. For Hollywood, it is unprecedented. He uses this freedom to push boundaries, refining each frame with obsessive care. The Gold Rush takes over a year to produce. The Circus tests his limits physically, emotionally, and creatively. Then comes the age of sound. The industry shifts almost overnight. Silent stars falter. Studios demand dialogue, music, adaptation. Chaplin resists. He refuses to compromise the Tramp. He believes that his comedy is universal because it speaks without words. He believes audiences connect to expression, timing, and human truth, not dialogue. It is a bold stand, risky, defiant. Studios whisper, executives fume, colleagues worry. The world of sound is moving, and Chaplin is standing still. But he does not flinch. He produces City Lights and Modern Times, silent masterpieces released in the era of talking pictures. The risk is colossal, yet the rewards are monumental. City Lights becomes one of the most beloved films of all time, praised for its genius storytelling, comedic timing, and deep humanity. Yet, with such power and independence comes scrutiny.
Not every eye applauds. Some watch, calculating. Some envy. Some fear. And for the first time, Chaplin realizes that in Hollywood, control can protect you, but it can also isolate you. The Tramp has conquered the world. Chaplin has conquered Hollywood. But enemies, both visible and invisible, are waiting. And that refusal to speak the industry's language, to bow to its pressure, to change when all others are changing, would make him enemies far more dangerous than critics.
By the mid-1930s, the world is no longer laughing easily. Factories dominate skylines. Assembly lines dictate human rhythm. The Great Depression has stripped millions of dignity, work, and hope. Men stand in endless lines for bread. Families crowd into single rooms. The promise of industry has delivered efficiency, but little mercy. Charlie Chaplin is watching. He walks through cities where machines never sleep. He studies how bodies move when they are forced to keep pace with gears and belts. He notices the same thing everywhere. People are being shaped by systems they do not control, and he decides to put it on screen. In 1936, Chaplin releases Modern Times. At first glance, it looks like another comedy. The Tramp works on an assembly line. He tightens bolts again and again and again. His body begins to move mechanically even when the line stops. He cannot help himself. The rhythm has taken over. Audiences laugh. They laugh as he is swallowed by the machine. They laugh as he is fed by an automated contraption designed to eliminate lunch breaks. They laugh as authority figures lecture him while ignoring his humanity. But Chaplin is doing something precise. He is mocking industrial cruelty, not with speeches, not with slogans, but with motion, with exhaustion, with repetition. The Tramp is no longer just poor. He is trapped inside a system that values productivity over people. Zoom in. A factory worker whose hands never stop moving. A man whose thoughts are interrupted by whistles and alarms. A woman struggling to survive on the margins, stealing food not out of malice, but necessity. These are not abstractions, they are lived realities. Chaplin shows silent suffering, not dramatically, but constantly. Hunger that never leaves, fatigue that never resets, authority that never listens. And the laughter continues. But beneath it, something shifts. Critics begin to ask questions, executives whisper concerns, political observers take notice. Chaplin is no longer just entertaining, he is commenting. Some accuse him of radicalism. They say the film attacks capitalism. They say it sympathizes too openly with workers. They say it questions authority too freely. Chaplin denies political labels. He insists he is showing what he sees, but the response tells him everything he needs to know. Comedy has crossed a line. Governments notice. Power notices. Because Modern Times does not argue, it demonstrates. It makes people feel the strain of modern life without explaining it, and that makes it difficult to dismiss. People laugh, but governments do not. They see crowds responding to a man who challenges order without shouting, a man whose influence does not rely on policy, but empathy, a man whose message travels across borders without translation. Chaplin has always believed silence is universal. Now he understands something else. Silence can also be unsettling. The Tramp walks away at the end of the film, still poor, still uncertain, but still moving forward. Audiences cheer. Yet for those watching from positions of power, the message is uncomfortable. A character with nothing refuses to surrender his humanity. A comedian has exposed the cost of progress, and people have understood him. Chaplin has turned laughter into a lens,
And once laughter reveals truth, it cannot be unseen. What began as entertainment is now something else entirely. A challenge. And the world is about to test how far Chaplin is willing to go and how much it will tolerate from a man who refuses to stay silent, even when he never speaks.
By the late 1930s, the world is holding its breath. Across Europe, borders are tightening, speeches grow louder, symbols grow sharper. One man's face appears everywhere, on banners, in newsreels, in marching crowds moving in perfect rhythm. Charlie Chaplin sees it immediately. The posture, the gestures, the exaggerated authority. To Chaplin, it looks disturbingly familiar. The mustache, small, square, unmistakable, mirrors his own screen persona by coincidence alone. Audiences joke about it, newspapers notice it, but Chaplin does not laugh for long. He watches the footage. He listens to the speeches he cannot understand, yet somehow understands completely. He sees crowds responding not to reason, but to performance, and he recognizes something unsettling. This is theater, dangerous theater. Hollywood, meanwhile, stays cautious. Studios fear controversy. The United States is not yet at war. Isolationism dominates public opinion. No one wants to risk alienating audiences or governments. Chaplin is urged to stay quiet. He is told comedy is not the place for this, that satire could offend, that silence is safer. Chaplin disagrees. He believes ridicule strips false authority of its power. He believes laughter can expose cruelty faster than outrage. And most of all, he believes waiting will only make things worse. So he decides to act. He writes, directs, produces, and stars in The Great Dictator. It will be his first full sound film and his most dangerous. The film is released in 1940, before the United States enters World War II. This matters. There is no hindsight yet, no certainty of how events will unfold. Chaplin plays two roles: a ruthless dictator ruling with obsession and vanity, and a Jewish barber, ordinary, overlooked, gentle. The parallels are impossible to miss. Audiences laugh at the dictator's tantrums. They laugh at the inflated speeches reduced to noise. They laugh as authority collapses under its own absurdity. But the laughter is uneasy, because this is no longer abstract. The events on screen echo real headlines, real laws, real violence. Chaplin knows the risk. He knows that if the world chooses silence, comedy may be the last warning left. The moral dilemma is clear. Should comedy confront evil or stay silent until it is too late? Chaplin chooses confrontation. And then comes the final scene. The barber stands before a crowd. By mistake, he has been placed where the dictator should be. The microphones are live. The moment is irreversible. And Chaplin does something he has never done before. He breaks character. The tramp is gone. The barber fades. The performance stops. Charlie Chaplin speaks directly, not as a character, not as a clown, but as a man. He speaks about cruelty, about greed, about the misuse of power. He pleads for kindness, for reason, for humanity. He asks people to look at one another not as enemies, but as equals. The speech is earnest, unshielded, vulnerable. Some audiences are stunned. Some critics are unsettled. Some governments take note. Chaplin has crossed a line few entertainers ever cross. he has stepped fully into the public conscience. The film becomes a success, the speech becomes legendary, but consequences follow. Chaplin is no longer seen only as an artist, he is now seen as a voice, a symbol, a figure whose influence extends beyond cinema. For millions, that speech makes him immortal. For others, it marks him permanently. Because from this moment on, Charlie Chaplin will never again be judged only by what he creates, but by what he represents. And in a world entering its darkest chapter, that distinction carries a price. That speech made him immortal and marked him forever.
The war ends. Cities celebrate. Soldiers return. Flags wave. Victory parades fill the streets. America tells itself a story of triumph, of freedom defended, of evil defeated, of democracy proven right. But not everyone is welcome into that story. Charlie Chaplin remains one of the most famous men on earth. His films are still watched. His influence is still unmatched. Yet something has shifted. The laughter around him has changed. Behind closed doors, files are growing. For years already, the Federal Bureau of Investigation has been watching him, not casually, obsessively. At the center of it all stands J. Edgar Hoover. Hoover does not trust Chaplin. He does not like that Chaplin never became an American citizen. He does not like that Chaplin speaks about poverty, labor, and power. He does not like that Chaplin commands crowds without holding office. And most of all, he does not like that Chaplin cannot be controlled. The FBI builds a file that grows thicker with every passing year. Pages filled with rumors, second-hand accusations, overheard conversations. Little of it is provable. None of it leads to charges. But that is not the point. In post-war America, suspicion alone is enough. Chaplin is labeled a sympathizer, then a radical, then a moral threat. His personal life becomes public property. His relationships are dissected. His marriages are ridiculed. Court cases unrelated to his work are splashed across headlines as evidence of character flaws rather than private failings. The press turns sharp. Stories repeat until they harden into truth. Accusations echo louder than denials. Chaplin watches as his image is slowly reshaped, not by what he creates, but by what others claim he represents. The human cost is immediate. Friends distance themselves. Studios hesitate. Invitations stop arriving. Every appearance becomes an opportunity for condemnation. Every silence is treated as guilt. He is called immoral. He is called dangerous. And beneath it all lies a simpler fact. Chaplin is vulnerable because he is not a citizen. Immigration becomes the weapon of choice. In 1952, Chaplin decides to leave the United States temporarily. He plans to travel to Europe for the premiere of Limelight, a deeply personal film reflecting on aging, obscurity, and loss. He assumes he will return as he always has. He boards the ship calmly. But while he is at sea, the decision is made. The U.S. government revokes his re-entry permit. He is informed that if he wishes to return, he must submit to an investigation into his political beliefs and personal conduct. Chaplin reads the notice in silence. No trial, no verdict, no opportunity to defend himself.
just exile. He chooses not to fight publicly. He does not beg. He does not plead. He simply decides he will not return under those conditions. The country he helped shape cinematically closes its doors to him without ceremony. For the first time since childhood, Chaplin is again displaced, not by poverty this time, but by power. The war is over, but his punishment is just beginning. He settles in Switzerland, far from Hollywood, far from the studios he once commanded. The world continues to change without him. Cinema grows louder, faster, different. Chaplin grows older, quieter. The man who once stood at the center of global culture now watches from the margins. His name still famous, his presence absent. America moves on, but not entirely. Because even in exile, Charlie Chaplin's shadow remains. And years later, when the nation finally invites him back, the moment will reveal something deeper than forgiveness. It will reveal regret.
Switzerland is quiet. Not the silence of neglect, but the stillness of distance. Charlie Chaplin settles there with his wife, Una O'Neill, and their children in a large house overlooking Lake Geneva. The world that once demanded his attention every day now reaches him slowly, filtered through newspapers, letters, and visitors who make the journey to see him. He is older now, his movements slower, his voice softer, his days structured around family rather than premieres. For the first time since childhood, he is not performing to survive or to be heard. And yet, he is not forgotten. His films continue to circulate. New generations discover the kid, city lights, modern times. Students study his timing. Directors borrow his techniques. Comedians reference his walk, his pauses, his ability to say everything with almost nothing. Chaplin watches the world he helped shape move on without him. Hollywood grows louder. Films become faster, sharper, more technical. The industry he once challenged becomes more consolidated than ever. He feels the distance, but he also understands it. In exile, Chaplin reflects, he writes, he composes music, he revisits old work, sometimes re-editing, sometimes simply remembering. Limelight, once dismissed in America, begins to be reassessed elsewhere as a meditation on relevance and loss. Years pass. Then, quietly, something changes. In the early 1970s, America begins to look back. The fears that fueled his exile no longer carry the same force. The accusations feel dated. The certainty they once inspired has eroded. And so, in 1972, the invitation arrives. Charlie Chaplin is asked to return to the United States, not to stand trial, not to explain himself, but to receive an honorary Academy Award for his contributions to cinema. He accepts, and when he steps onto the stage in Los Angeles, the room rises. Applause begins and does not stop. Minutes pass. 10, 11, 12. A standing ovation unlike anything the Academy has ever recorded. Chaplin does not speak immediately. He waits. He absorbs it. The recognition is overwhelming, not because it restores his youth, but because it acknowledges what was taken. This is not just celebration, it is reconciliation. The world is finally saying what it could not say before.
But the echoes of his story reach far beyond one ceremony, because the questions that surrounded Chaplin did not disappear with him. They resurfaced again and again in different forms, under different names. Who decides which artists are acceptable? When does expression become threat? How quickly can public admiration turn into condemnation? Modern culture still wrestles with these questions. Artists are watched, statements are scrutinized, beliefs are judged as much as work. The tools have changed, headlines replaced by feeds, files replaced by digital records, but the tension remains. Art versus ideology, fame versus freedom, expression versus power. Chaplin's life reveals a pattern that has repeated itself many times since. When culture reaches enough people, it attracts attention. When it attracts attention, it invites control. And laughter, especially laughter that exposes inequality, cruelty, or authority, remains unsettling. Because power prefers seriousness. Laughter undermines it. Charlie Chaplin never led a movement, never held office, never wrote a manifesto. He simply showed people themselves, and that was enough to make him beloved, and enough to make him dangerous. His exile did not erase him. His return did not undo what happened. But together, they tell a story that still matters. Because as long as art reflects truth, as long as laughter exposes contradiction, as long as creators reach beyond borders, power will continue to watch closely. And that is why Charlie Chaplin's story endures. Because power still fears laughter. In the final years of his life, Charlie Chaplin walks more slowly. There is no stage beneath his feet now, no cameras waiting for a gesture, no audience expecting a laugh, just gravel paths, open air, and the steady passage of time. Sometimes he walks alone. The man who once commanded the attention of the world now moves through it unnoticed, and perhaps, at last, at peace. Old footage flickers. Black and white frames stutter back to life. The tramp lifts his hat, trips, smiles, keeps going. A small figure against an uncaring world, endlessly resilient. The images fade in and out, worn by time, yet unmistakable. A character born from hunger, shaped by hardship, and understood by millions who never heard his voice. Charlie Chaplin lived through the extremes of the modern age: industrial collapse, global war, mass media, fear dressed as patriotism. He rose from nothing, he lost everything, and still he endured. He proved that laughter could carry truth farther than speeches, that silence could speak louder than slogans, that empathy, when shared widely enough, could unsettle those who depended on obedience. But his story also leaves a question hanging, unresolved, uncomfortable, and necessary. If laughter can threaten empires, what does that say about the world we live in? Chaplin never claimed to be a hero. He played fools, outsiders, men with nothing but dignity left to defend. And yet, in doing so, he revealed something essential about power and about fear. History remembers his smile, but it nearly erased the man behind it. The child from the workhouse, the immigrant without a nation, the artist who refused to explain himself away. What remains now is not just film reels and awards, but a reminder that culture shapes memory, and memory decides who belongs. And somewhere, forever preserved in flickering light,
A small man walks down a road, turns once, tips his hat, and disappears into the distance. If you enjoy deep historical stories like this, subscribe for daily uploads.